And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
When I first heard about 8-Minute Empire, I was very intrigued. A game that promises to be 8 minutes, 2 to 5, and then the Empire building game. Well, it actually says here in the box it is a super quick area control game, which is very true. Okay, don't be fooled. This has nothing to do with building empires or fighting other people. It is an area control game in which you try to have more tokens of your type in areas than other players. And set collecting, getting cards. Is it 8 minutes? Well, let's look. Here's the board for the game, which is a map of Europe. What? That's so boring. Oh, wait. But that doesn't matter because the board is actually double-sided, so you can have a different complete map if you want. In fact, another board comes with the game which has 2 different sides to it. So we're going to use this much more interesting side here. And each of these boards is split up into many different regions. One of those regions, though, says start on it, so each person will put in 3 armies, these cubes of their choice. Players are going to get a whole bunch of other armies of their color, as well as 3 cities, which are little white discs here. Then players are going to get some money that they will start the game with, depending on the number of players. And 6 cards will be turned over at the top here. And then one player gets to go first. The way that is determined is by a mini auction. This is a one-time game thing. Whoever bids the most money, it's a hidden auction, pays their money and goes first. If there's a tie, then the youngest of the tied players. On a player's turn, they'll go around the table, and each player will have a very specific number of turns. Like, for example, in a 4-player game, you will have 8 turns. In a 5-player game, 7 turns, and so on. Each turn is very simple. You're going to take a card from the top. The costs of the card is listed on the board depending on the card's position. So if I buy the first card at 0, then 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3. If you have no money, obviously, you're forced to take the first card. When you take a card, you will take that card. All the other cards then will slide down in a row, and a new card is revealed for the next player. When you take a card, the card does 2 things for you. 1, there's an action which you will take immediately. 2, you'll put the card in front of you and it will count as a resource of the type at the top of a card. So this counts as 1 crystal, and it lets me move 2 people on the board. When moving your armies, you can move 1 army 2 spaces like that, or you can move 2 armies 1 space each. You cannot move over the sea unless the card you take says that you can move over the sea. Some cards allow you to put a city wherever you have a troop. So maybe I want to put a city there. I don't know why I would do that, but maybe I wanted to do that. Other cards allow you to drop new cubes in, armies in, and you can drop them in on the starting spot or where you have one of your cities. Other cards let you kill an opponent's cube. Some cards say and. This lets me kill an opponent's cube and bring out one of my own. Still others have or, so I can add 4 cubes or move 2 cubes. Some cards are wild, which just means at the end of the game they're a wild resource. It still has a specific action that you can do here. This will continue, and the game will progress, and people will be moving around the board and adding more cubes and such. At the end of the game, which will be after each player has a certain number of cards in front of them, depending on how many cards are in that game, 8 cards in a 4-player game, you will then put the different resources you collected into sets. Each set will score you, and the wild can go in any set you want. Let's say, for example, I have 3 carrots here, 3 veggies. 3 veggies gives me 1 point. 5 gives me 2, 7 gives me 3, 8 gives me 5. That's because there's a lot of veggies in a deck. Crystals, on the other hand, there's very few of them. So 1 gives me a point, 2 points, 3 points, and 4 gives me 5 points. So players will receive points for their sets that they've gotten. Each territory where they have the most people, and that includes cities and soldiers, the most things in an area, will get 1 point for every region on the board. Whoever controls the most regions in each continent on the board, and some continents are smaller than others, will get 1 point for that continent. Add together all your points, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game, with tiebreakers going to money and then most regions, etc. You can also play a variant, and I would just automatically play with this variant, where you can take little resource tokens, and these are put on certain spots on the board. They have little triangles on them, so you know where to put these different resources. If you control that region at the end of the game, you'll get that little resource, and it counts as one of those resources for purposes of sets. 8 minutes sounds good, but I really think it's not a possibility. Let's say, for example, you're playing a 4-player game, and that in a 4-player game, there are 8 turns. So if it's an 8-minute game, each turn is 1 minute, which means each player has 15 seconds to take their turn. Now, I suppose that's theoretically possible, but players would have to be grabbing a card, instantly analyzing that card, sticking the pieces on the board, putting the card down in front of them, and passing to the next person. That is not going to happen. This is a 15 to 20 minute game, which is still very short. So there is that. I'm not going to get caught up in quibbles over the time. But I do want to talk about the game itself. It's interesting. I mean, it didn't blow me away. I didn't think, wow, this is so cool. I thought, oh, this is, it's simple. There's nothing really absolutely unique about the experience. You take a card, which I've seen in games before, where I try to collect different sets of cards, and some cards are more, cost more than others. And then you put pieces on the board and move them around and try to have the most in areas. Again, nothing unique. I guess that if this game is basically taking those mechanics, putting them together, and saying, hey, you only do it about 6 or 7 times on a really small board. Okay, I can accept that. The multiple boards is nice because each board does have a different feel to it. And like I said, I really will play with the advanced feature where I have the different tokens on the board, because that makes different spots on the board worth more. Since you only have 7, 8, 9, 10 choices over the course of the game, or cards that you'll take, it's not a heavy game at all. It's just a quick thought that you do, and you move pieces around. And there's not a lot of luck in the game, I guess, other than the way the cards come up. You might as well spend your money in this game. Some people like to hoard their money to the end. You might as well spend it. Going first, that's kind of an odd thing to bid for turn order. I understand why the game did it, because the going first is a small advantage, but I wouldn't bid more than 1 or 2 coins for it ever, because I want to use those coins as the game progresses. And as I found out as I played the game, that it's better to spend coins and get the cards you want than to say, well, I don't want to be stuck later on getting cards I can't use. No, just buy the cards you need as the game progresses. So there you go. It's a filler. It's a game that you play between other games. It's a game that you can set up, and it certainly is going to be attractive to people because of the time frame of this game. I can't think of many area control games that are this short. So good quality components. I mean, yeah, they're cubes and discs, I suppose, and the maps. But I mean, the box is pretty good. It's an easy one to fit on your shelf. If you're looking for something to kind of pad out your collection, something to play while you're waiting for other people to play the big game, 8-Minute Empire is not a bad choice.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!